Budget insurance. Affordable because you can't afford not to.
Hello and welcome to the inside of the brand new Porsche 718 Cayman GT4. It is new, it is yellow, it was delivered to our offices yesterday. I picked it up this morning and I am having a very nice day. This is a good day, this is fun. Wow, what a lovely thing. So let's get through some of the technical details before I tell you what I think this car is like to drive. 4-litre flat 6 in here, and even though it's the same displacement as the motor in the GTRS, it actually has nothing to do with that. This is a bored out version of the brand new 3-litre you get in the 911. And then they just take the turbos off. So naturally aspirated and all that power going through. Look at this. A 6-speed manual gearbox. What an odd and wonderful thing to find in a modern sports car. Oh, how I missed you. And what a wonderful gearbox it is. The throw is extremely short. Every gear change is matched with this beautiful soundtrack, this clackety clack, letting you know that you have successfully executed a gear change. Well done. Oddly though, first and second gear, the ratios feel particularly tall, which is quite interesting. This car will do almost 140 k's an hour in second gear, which is a little bit odd. And it means that third gear is kind of the sweet spot where everything seems to come together. But like the GTRS, because it's naturally aspirated, you really have to chase that red line to get the best out of it. So peak power 309 kilowatts, or if you live in a backwards country, 414 horsepower. Peak torque 420 of newtons meters, and that peak power figure comes in at 8,000 RPM, which means that below 5,000 RPM, if you get on the throttle and your speed is a bit low, you'd almost be forgiven for thinking this car is a little bit underpowered. From about 5,000 RPM onwards, that's where the party is. That's where all the good stuff is. That's where all those horses are hiding. Sorry, kilowatts. Let me stick to my guns here. Interestingly, the chassis that this car is riding on is pretty much just a mid-engine version of the GT3 chassis, and it shares pretty much an identical braking system, which even Porsche says is probably a little large for a GT4. But hey, no one's complaining, especially when you need to stop in a hurry. And even though this car is slightly heavier than the outgoing GT4, mostly because of the particulate filters that they've had to fit to meet emissions regulations for the next few years, it's still faster. 12 seconds faster around the Nürburgring, and it's set exactly the same lap time as the 911 GT3. And a lot of that is thanks to some underbody aero. They've increased the downforce of this car with a slightly larger rear wing and better underbody aero and a more aggressive front lip to deliver 122 kilograms of downforce, which is about the same as a very large Springbok rugby player sitting on your car in strategic positions to help you corner faster. That's a technical explanation of how downforce works. What is it like to drive? Well, as mentioned, the party really starts at about 5,000 RPM. So let's chase that red line of 8,000 RPM where the peak power is hiding, all 309 kilowatts. That's third gear. The road's opened up nicely. 5,000 RPM. 7,000 RPM. Holy crap. Steering feel is just superb. There is just nothing that feels like this. It's light and provides so much feel and so much bite at the same time. It's a wonderful miracle of engineering. Very few manufacturers get that right. And while the suspension is very firm, it doesn't feel choppy. It's not wooded. Third gear, Nice left-hander into a right, change of direction. It changes direction with such competency. Hammer on in third, and you can just leave it in third, get on these huge brakes. 6,000 RPM, still got 2,000 RPM in the bank to play with. So adjustable mid-corner. Ah, this is absolutely annoyingly fantastic to drive. How do they do this? They just keep cranking out hit after hit. They're like the Pink Floyd of driving dynamics. Goodness me. Oh, this thing is spot on. Oh, I like it so much. I don't want to like it. Why is it so nice to drive? So 1.7 million rand bags you one of these, which is very similar in price, just a snip above the new BMW M2 CS. And of course 1.7 million rand is a lot of money any way you look at it. But when you consider that a GT3 RS is more than double that, way more than double that, 4.2 million, and given the driving thrills and dynamics that this car delivers, good Lord, this thing is a bargain. This is about 83% of what you get from a GT3 RS, maybe 84%, at way less than half the money. That's pretty good value. Didn't think I'd ever say that about a Porsche 718. I think what I'm coming to realize about these wonderful, naturally aspirated, fast Porsches is that the same thing which makes them incredible drivers' cars and incredibly thrilling to drive is also the same thing which makes them a little bit problematic to enjoy in the real world. It doesn't feel like there's enough road in the world to fully enjoy this car on. Because the party is happening at over 5,000 RPM, you have to be absolutely ringing it to be getting the best out of this car and this motor. And I'm not trying to take anything away from the driving experience that this car delivers, because to be honest, I think it's second to none. But this really is a weekend special. You're going to get the most out of it if you take it far out of the city, because out here in the real world, it almost feels like this is too good of a car. This is too much car to really, really enjoy, to really get the most out of it. And that's a little bit of a pity. It's so excellent that it sort of leaves the real world behind.
Cars.co.za is so much more than just a YouTube channel. Take our app for instance. It's been downloaded over 500,000 times in the Android store alone, which means it must be okay, right? You'll find the links to the download for iOS and Android in the description below.
Budget insurance. Affordable because you can't afford not to.